Okay, I had to know. What's all the fuss? You good folks have been telling me for a long time, and a lot of you folks have been telling me to try out these WYZE security cameras. So, I did. So you good folks know that I've been testing out various different security cameras up here at the cabin for years. This will be, I believe, the 7th different manufacturer or brand that I'm going to be testing out here. So far, after all these years, the most reliable cameras that I've found that work in this environment are the Reolink cameras that I've been putting in, which is why you recall several months ago I put 3 more in, which again spurred a whole bunch of you folks to tell me to try out these WYZE cameras. For reference, if you're new to the channel, I don't get paid, I don't get commission. Whatever type, brand, model, make that you choose to buy is whatever you think is best for you. I'm just testing it out and passing on some information. It's not going to be an installation video. But while I'm putting it in or getting it installed on the side of the cabin, I did want to share some thoughts, give you some tips after I've put in so many up here that might help you if you're purchasing one or some other brand. And I'll give you a little bit of my first initial thoughts on kind of the differences or a comparison between these Reolinks I have and this new WYZE camera. I hope you'll stick around. Once again, I picked it up with the solar panel because I don't like running wires or blowing holes through the outside of the dwelling and running electricity. I want it to be self-sufficient. And so far to date, the solar panels on these Reolinks over the last few years have done their job, even in the middle of the winter. So we're going to set this up with its own solar panel as well, so I can keep it charged. Price. Well, as I mentioned before, the WYZE, the Reolinks, all these different brands that seem to have similar types of cameras all sit within the same general price range. You're within 10, 20 bucks of each other, especially after you purchase the solar panel. So that doesn't really differentiate. The real important thing to me, as you folks know, up here at a cabin or a cottage, when you're not here all the time, reliability and connectivity. You want to know that when you get a motion alert, it's actually going to see it and it's going to notify you on your phone within seconds or minutes. And that's what's most important. When you go to connect to the camera to see what's going on at the cottage, you want it to connect every time. That's what's most important. And so far, as you know, that's why I keep buying the Reolinks, because after trying other different manufacturers, I've just found over the years that the Reolinks are continuously dependable. They're very reliable. The app is super easy and intuitive. And so WYZE has a bit of an uphill battle here. We'll see just how well over the coming months it compares to the Reolink. I've decided to install this WYZE camera right beside one of my Reolinks so I can do kind of a side-by-side comparison. This means they're both similar distances from my Wi-Fi router, and we'll see how reliable or how often I get a loss of connection on either camera. I also put my solar panels side by side because I just want to test how well these things are charging. And so in order to do that, I needed them beside each other. So that way they're reasonably in a similar position. And we'll see over time. And hey, while I'm turning the screws, I just thought I might offer some tips for installation because similar to Reolink, WYZE doesn't have any really good videos or information on their website as to how to install these cameras. It's pretty basic. And there's a few things I hope I can share if you're thinking about getting into this mid-market security cameras. It might help you out. So when your camera's delivered, regardless of whether you bought it from Amazon or directly from the company's website, you want to open the boxes and just check to make sure all your parts are there. I know that's pretty obvious, but sometimes people don't do that right away, and you want to make sure if anything's missing, you can send the product back right away. Before you pull the ladder and your tools out, take the battery out of the package and plug it into one of your USB power plugs in the house and charge it inside. Kind of important, I've learned, to make sure you fully charge that battery before you get up on the ladder and find out that it's dead and you've hooked up the panel and it's going to take hours before that battery is charged enough to actually power the camera. In the case of the WYZE camera, it says in several places not to use one of these new 20-watt type power adapters that you plug in for your iPhones. It's telling you to use one of the older style, the 5-volt, no more than 2 amps type plugs. And that's what I've got, and I think most of us all have one of those. If you're not sure, just take a look at the side of the plug and it'll tell you what the voltage and the amperage is. But plug her in. It's going to take several hours. It always does. In the meantime, while you're waiting, you can get your tools ready, get your ladder ready, go into your app store on your phone, download the WYZE app, go into it, create an account. It's always free. Usually there's some kind of a verification process, but you're going to be in and up and running within a couple of minutes. Once your battery is fully charged, you want to put it into the camera and fire up the camera and do the install on your app before you start climbing the ladder. Make sure you're doing that from the comfort inside. That way, if there's any problems, you haven't got it mounted on the side of your house when you find out. And it's so much easier just to add the camera, get it installed on your app, and then test to make sure it's working. And you can see it on your app, and you can see what it sees. Once you know it's all working, it's ready to go, it's time to grab the drill and head up the ladder. When you get up the ladder, I'd recommend that you install the camera first. Usually the solar panel will have about 10 feet of wire. And one of the benefits, and I have to give a check mark to WYZE, is they have a bracket on the back of the solar panel for you to wrap up any extra wiring. So that makes it a little bit of a neater installation, but you want to put the camera in first, get it connected, and then run your wire out and mount your solar panel. So we're all installed. So far, so good. Just a couple of thoughts. There's my notification. The app, compared to the Reolink app, kind of pretty much similar. There's not many differences. They're both pretty intuitive and pretty easy to use. So I'd kind of have to say they both get a thumbs up. There's not anything that's, although the process to add a camera is slightly different in the WYZE, it is still pretty simple. Once you're into the app, it is pretty easy to click around in there and find the things you're looking for, just in different places than you might find them on Reolink, but it's there. One of the benefits, which I did not know again, which I'm happy about with this WYZE camera, is although it's a 2K camera, it also has the ability to dumb down the definition to an HD, is all it's telling you. It's not telling you how much or what the pixels are or what the resolution is. But up here with a really poor Wi-Fi service, that really comes in handy. And that's one of the benefits I found with the Reolinks is you can always change or dumb down the resolution, which means I have a higher chance of streaming over the Wi-Fi, even though it's so terrible up here in the forest. So apps are good, stuff's hooked up, cameras are added, got it on the phone. We're gonna wait until we get to high noon, so I've got lots of sunshine here, and then let's test out the pictures and both of the apps and see the quality of it. We'll do some shots this afternoon and then tonight in the evening, see what it looks like at night. Okay, let's wrap up this video. The first part of the video was filmed 11 days ago. I just wanted to wait a little bit before I finish this, just to test it out, for at least a week. Not much of a review, but I promise I'll do updates in 6-8 months from now. So I've been testing both the Reolink and the WYZE numerous times every day, checking to make sure they connect while I'm down in the city, and honestly, flawless from both of them. Every single time both cameras connect, they show and they record like they're supposed to. Kind of in summary, both cameras, super easy to install. The apps, very intuitive, both of them. Really easy to add a camera, set it up, find your settings, and very easy to see what notification came through. Speaking of notifications, kind of a fun fact. Every single time, without fail, the Reolink notifies me on my phone before the WYZE. When it sees motion, Reolink always hits it first, within seconds of seeing motion. WYZE is not bad though. It's usually about 5 to 10, 15 seconds behind it. So it's still a pretty quick response time. But for some reason, the Reolink, every single time, hits it right away. Both cameras offer a cloud service, so your recordings go up into the cloud. You can keep them there. A little bit of a difference in services. The WYZE will only hold your recordings for 14 days, and the cost of the WYZE cloud service per month for one camera is as much as I pay for all 5 of my Reolinks. It's the same price. Difference is the Reolink will hold it for 30 days, not 14. And if you want to add unlimited cameras on the WYZE, you're looking at about 5 times the cost, 4 to 5 times the cost of the Reolink for the cloud service. So you're all probably want to ask me the same question. Can I see the license plate? Let's check it out on both cameras. The truck is parked 36 feet away from the side of the building. So that was a bit of a surprise, that test. Just so you know, they're not comparable cameras. They're basically the same, but the Reolink is a tilt and pivot, and the WYZE is a static camera. But the interesting thing is the Reolink's 3 years old, as you know. It's been through 3 winters. It's only 1080p, and I have it at high resolution. The WYZE, which is brand new, is a 2K camera. So in theory, it should have a much clearer or a better defined picture. The Reolink picked up the license plate, though. The big test for these cameras, as you know, is whether or not they survive a winter. The Reolinks have been on the side of that building for 3 winters now. Never once had a problem. So I'm looking forward to next winter to see how the WYZE performs. Thanks for sticking around. I hope it was informative or helped out some of you folks that are thinking about security, whether you've got a cabin or a vacation home or a cottage. You need to have eyes in the sky, so to speak, because you never know who's coming through. Have a great week with your families. Please be kind to one another. And I'll see you again right here. I'm Gord Potter, and you've been watching GP Outdoors. Cheers.